How's it going, guys? This is your boy Hazzed, and today we're going to be discussing some buffs that are coming up in 7.2 and also a kind of hidden buff that's actually on live right now with Frost DKs involving another class, whether it's 1v1 or arena situations. So let's go ahead and jump into this video and talk about it.
It's who we are, it's what we do, we've come so far, and now we pay the price, so don't even cry. The world is breaking down, and I cannot leave the ground.
So, two of the main things that I've been fairly discouraged about with Frost DKs and Legion had to do with hitting Paladin bubbles, because one, the Paladin bubbles, we couldn't get runic power from it, and also death strikes wouldn't affect Paladin bubbles, it wouldn't give us the self-heal off it. Well, it seems they've fixed one of these problems shown here in this clip. Here comes the test. Let's see if we get runic power. Alright, so he's basically gonna bubble. Look, we're getting runic power. It works. It works. It works. We can keep breath through bubble. We can keep breath through bubble. This is so exciting. Oh, that's exciting. Sorry guys, this is good. This is good. So what does that actually mean for us? Well, importantly, as you see right now in World PvP, we're playing the breath spec. And one of the reasons we lose to Paladins is they'd open bubble the breath spec and just eliminate our burst us while they're in the bubble, and finish up burst afterwards, totally killing us because we don't have our burst. And if we tried to take the other route and try to burst after the bubble, they would actually nuke us beforehand before reaching the bubble, and kind of it was a no-win situation no matter how you tried to play it out. Well, as of right now, since they gave us the ability to actually get runic power off of the bubble, we will now be able to breath the Ret Paladin up front, keep up our breath through the bubble, and finish up our burst on the other side, completely forcing the Ret Paladin to play defensive or burst up front. But either way, it definitely plays to our favor. And the other thing this is going to do for us is going to give us the ability, why they have, of course, bubble up, even if you don't or you're not using breath at the time, you still will have the ability to gain runic power, to use the one heal macro to fully heal up right after the bubble falls off, instead of having to get the runic power while they're beating your face and just smacking you with cooldowns. And then, of course, you use your obliterates during their bubble, and then you can heal right afterwards and go back to DPSing and pressuring instead of having to focus again on gaining runic power with obliterates. This is actually a huge buff when it comes to dueling Ret Paladins or fighting Ret Paladins in 1v1 situations, and I did test it out in Battlegrounds. It was actually where I first noticed it. When a Paladin bubbled, I hit him with an obliterate and my runic power started going up. I thought I was seeing things, so I had to test it in World PvP and see if it was actually working, and it turns out it is. So this is something I'm very happy about, because Paladins, I'd say, we're definitely within the top 5 hardest classes to fight Ret Paladins, where this makes it a lot easier and a lot more manageable to fight a Ret Paladin, being able to do that and gain runic power off a bubble. So this is something I'm really excited for when it comes to dueling in BG situations, guys. So let's go ahead and start talking about these 7.2 buffs that we're going to be looking at. First off, we're going to be discussing the buff to Wraithwalk. Now, this is something I'm really excited for. It applies to Frost and Unholy, is the fact that our Wraithwalk is going to keep us at 170% speed instead of them being able to slow us down to 70% speed while we're using Wraithwalk. Now, you're probably thinking, why is this important? Now, think about if you're fighting a rogue opens up on you, you use Wraithwalk and try and get away from the rogue. The rogue will slow you to 70% speed, making it so you can't get away from the rogue. Now imagine if you're at 170% speed when you trinket and jump away from the target using Wraithwalk. He's not going to be able to focus you. It's going to give you kind of that opener to turn around and actually get your bearings about you, or if you're fighting some kind of mage. There's been a lot of times where I'm sitting in some kind of frost ring. I'm slowed, I'm rooted, and I pop Wraithwalk to get out of the root, but then I get hit with some kind of slow or some kind of ice bolt directly after, which limits again my movement speed. This is actually going to guarantee our mobility to reach the target. It's also going to guarantee our ability for you to switch targets in arena using Wraithwalk, making it so people can't again slow you. So this is something I'm very excited for, is the buff on our mobility, both Frost and of course Unholy, making us a bit more viable when it comes to reaching targets, because there's a lot of times where you pop Wraithwalk, you end up getting slowed and it doesn't really work too well anyways, especially if you're the one being focused inside of arena. This will basically give us a slight guarantee that will actually reach the target that we're going for. So this is actually something that is extremely excited, both 1v1 world PvP arena, everything. This is very exciting for us. Real quick, I wanted to re-go over some of these artifact traits for Frost DKs coming into 7.2, since it's just about to launch, so we can see some clarity and you guys can hear some stuff based on what's going on coming into the 7.2 artifact traits. So the top trait going on right now is Ferocity of the E-Bomb Blade, which increases strength and stamina by 10%. That's basically just to keep what we have, since they are getting rid of the extra stacks on our artifact trait. It's basically just doing that. We'll lose 5% strength just based on the transition, but I believe we're definitely going to be made up for it when it comes to mechanical stability based on these next traits. So let me explain. Rune Frost increases the chance to trigger runic power by 5%. Right now, runic empowerment is a 1.5% chance to proc. It's pretty low, but it really does help us out in rotation and dealing major damage. Now, an extra 5% on that will increase it to 6.5%, which will be just an amazing proc rate. Like, we're going to see it quite more often than we were, of course. And it's going to fill gaps in our damage, and it may elongate breath quite a bit. Like, I'm excited to see exactly what it's going to do once we're able to get that ability. Now, the other thing that's going to be cool is Runic Chills. Crystalline Sword reduces the cooldown of Sindragosa's Fury by 3 seconds. Now, based on the percentage of the ability's proc rate, if there's some kind of DR on it that I'm not aware of, but it sounds like this ability is going to proc quite often. And one of our biggest complaints on a Frost DK was the fact that Breath of Sindragosa wouldn't proc that often. I mean, it was on a 5-minute cooldown. You can't use it that often. And inside PvP right now, it hits like a wet noodle. So obviously, there's got to be some kind of change. And I currently don't know if these affect PvP instances or not. More than likely, they probably won't, since it's past the 10% strength in damage, which is probably to balance out PvE, obviously. So anyways, but it will affect world PvP, so that's why I am excited for it. Now, as you can see here, it's going to reduce the cooldown on Sindragosa's Fury by 3 seconds, which we'll be able to spam it a lot more. We'll be able to use it a lot more. As of currently, it's got to be like a 5-minute fight, unless you have the legendary pants, which reduces the cooldown even further, which has me kind of wondering if that reduces the cooldown of Sindragosa's Fury, plus you have the pants that reduces the cooldown again. What is the stacking going to be? Like, what is the proc rate? How often are you going to be able to spam your dragon? Every minute? Like, that could be insane for padding meters and doing a AoE. But we're going to have to see. And the last ability kind of goes hand in hand with Runic Chills. Obliterate has a 100% chance to cause the target to be pierced from behind by crystalline swords. Does that mean every Obliterate we have reduces the cooldown of Sindragosa's Fury by 3 seconds? That's why I'm curious if there's some kind of percentage DR on the ability. Something along those lines. We'll have to see. But overall, it sounds pretty good. Like, in Mythic Pluses, that combo is going to be insanely powerful, being able to spam dragons, of course, on AoE ads, since we know that ability can proc our DPS in the millions, like 3 million, 6 million plus, even higher. It's absolutely insane when it comes to PvE AoE DPS. So that is something I'm also excited for. Now, down at the bottom, we have our single nerf coming into 7.2. It's going to be on Chill Streak. It did deal 5% damage and bounce 9 times. It's going to deal 3% damage and bounce 9 times. But overall, it wasn't that amazing of an ability on live. Like, right now, it's not that great of an ability, even though it's bouncing that much. And it's good for padding meters in 2s. It can pad meters in BGs, especially against tanks and things like that, since it does hit for percentage damage. But overall, no, you didn't really use Chill Streak that often. I mean, overall, trying to deal majority of your damage, Tundra Stalker is going to do a lot better, since Frost Strike ends up being actually one of your top damaging ability inside BG situations. And since they reduced the range on Chill Streak already beforehand, that really kind of gimped the ability, because all you had to do was run like 10 yards apart, and it didn't bounce anymore. It wouldn't deal its max damage, since its damage is more focused on overtime instead of being more bursty, which they keep doing to us for some reason. I don't know. But me, I'm excited for the Ret Paladin trick. I'm excited to be able to gain runic power off using obliterates on bubbles so I can keep my breath up and burst all the way through instead of bursting up front and just everything going bad. So that's definitely something that's looking better for us. I'm still wondering if they're going to change it back to where our death strikes actually proc healing off of bubble. I hope they do. I hope they fix that pretty soon if they are looking at this stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. And until next time, this was your boy Hazzed.
Crown of thorns, cliche, over dramatic display.